Hello everyone, and what is going on? Hyperion-Blue-GT here. For today's weekly challenge on Gran Turismo 7 has now ready to go by having a third week of October will be put up with 4 races on road car only, and 1 for the race car category is now being green on the check mark at Circuit de Scientific Clorxe for World Touring Car 800. Along with the other 4 races is now being set up to go to Tokyo Expressway central clockwise in Sunny Cup, followed by 2 locations in Grand Valley Highway 1 and South Reverse for the Historic Sports Car Master and BAC Mono in the 1-man category to go for round 4. And here we have the 4th event on the road car type is now being featured on the Nissan GT-R Cup at D-Force Raceway. 3 prizes that you guys really might need to get 100,000, 200,000 Gran Turismo credit on the ticket, and 6-star roulette ticket is now being completed for only 5 events, which is very exactly to go for the time of arrival after finishing for the 2nd week of October. But after all, it takes a matter of progress, go by changes, and make it much more updatable by the previous content video until this one is about to be ready to move on. As always, if you're new to my YouTube channel, be sure click the subscribe button, then leave a like and comment at the section down below. Check out the links on the description if you want to see more. Don't forget to click the bell for notification on upcoming content videos in your later future. Let's get ready to go and start for today's weekly challenge. It's going to be all 4 in road cars and 1 for race car. This segment is about to go for the lineup to be route back to go for having a square 1 by easy, medium, and hard difficulty. As I'm about to be heading back to central clockwise in Tokyo Expressway by using the Toyota Hi-Ace Band DX 2016 to go for the Encore after finishing on 2nd place to be well tried out to go by the experience ever since from October 2024 update. Got to make sure to go adjusted and make it to go by sports medium, adding up by the ECU on the full control computer, racing ilk filter, racing on exhaust manifold, and of course to have 2 engine tuning to be installed on titanium connecting rods and pistons, and high compression piston is now being installed. It's all ready to go, and give this band for another round with a major decent amount of improvement to go moderation to go by having a well balance of the minivan commercial car is now rolling in to go for attempt number 2. I can't say it's very much more enjoyable to have a 1 single commercial band in GT7, which is very cool, amazing, and good awesome for having a best time to be in the urban city course to go on the racing transportation. So let's go and have myself to go for the 12th position to be finished up in 3rd place or higher, and this will have to get down to be in the 1st position by the main focus. Switching up to the interior view and give it a go. Overtake the Suzuki Jimny XC 2018 to go up in the 11th position, then go proceed at the right turn on number 1. Okay, there's another Hi-Ace band to be overtake. Just have to go there and keep it nice and slow to get closer onto the Honda Beat 1991. Take the left turn. Got a good eye on T Yamanaka on the position 8 is now coming in on sector number 2. Just to take the first day on the driving job and make it like a 2nd day to go racing up with the improved parts to go by normal and well average. But this will have to take some decent slipstream that you really might need to go up and make it to the top 3 position due to the participation in the latest part of the weekly challenges. It's all about practice to give a better kind of a commercial band. We'll give it much more specific parts to be adjusted and make it improve. So here comes the 2nd tunnel. Overtake the Mazda Demio SD Touring 2015 to go up into the next sector by number 4, then going up to be on the Sunset to be on the main sign on the arrow direction. Down to the main gap by 8.4 seconds to go. Got to kick it up in the medium gear and go up towards onto the next turn to go steeper on the uphill. Okay, I see the other 3 compact cars coming in. Make that final turn and go Q overtake on the Toyota Aqua S 2011 and Honda Fit Hybrid 2014 to be on the way in the final lap. This time, it's gonna have to give it much more needed and will base it to go for a new beginner level. Okay, gonna have to take that line up. Doing well and perfectly to catch up onto the Mazda Atenza sedan. There's T. Maloney. Gonna have to catch up to him and go back to Sector 2. This should do one way to get closer to have a one single sedan vehicle for the Sunny Cup introduction on additional race number 4. Got to go challenging up, keep up with the acceleration without braking, then overtake with a 4-door sedan car. I can't say about the Toyota Hi-Ace band is very more needed to have some adjusted parts to go specifically and make it much more compatible to be adding up with a swap engine. But it might be possible to give one swap engine and just have to give it much more needed to go faster up and keep it well balanced on the grip. But it takes handling a responsibility that you really might need to use it very wisely when having a swap engine to go by potentialized in the Hi-Ace band. Those are the examples of driving. Just have to keep it nice and keep it well behaved for having this car, as a commercial band is very more capable to be tested to have some custom exterior parts and exactly to have the rims as well. So almost there. Take the final turn to go in the final stretch. Just bring that Hi-Ace band to go achieve by the first position, mark on the podium. So that brings out on checkpoint number 2 is now being received after the WTC 800 for my full walkthrough that I just come here before for the first time and very yet to be on a debut without receiving by a credit ticket. So that considers to have race number 2 is now being done and checked. Total time in 3 minutes, 48.770 seconds by the faster lap on lap number 2. 1 minute, 51.032 seconds is very good to have a basic of a minivan commercial. But 40,500 GT credit has now going up by having a clean race bonus. New day awaits and go proceed forward to have an extra time in the thumbnail image to go close up and give it a scene of perspective by the duration. Just have to give me a moment. This part is going to be right over here. Along with the Suzuki Swift Sport 2007 is in the scene. I can't say the Hi-Ace band is very good to become as a Japanese exclusive transportation to go by a caravan of the ride. Just look at this ride. Just had to go by one thumbnail image. Just had to wait for the best one. Okay, coming out from tunnel number 2 and just had to go for the front view. And this one should do just the way it does. Might need to get a little bit zoom in. Okay, there you go. Just make it like a minivan to go racing on the urban city course. That's one event down in the road car type. 3 to go, and this will have to take one location in 2 races. For the next round, we'll have to be racing up to be in Historic Sports Car Master and BAC Moto at Grand Valley Highway 1 and its south reverse direction. But this will have to get down to do the classic road car first, as I'm choosing with the Ford GT40 Mark I 1966 with a UDRS Insportec livery to go for 5 laps and have 2 choices if I had to go for the hard or medium compound tires due to the performance point regulation is now being restricted. When it comes in to have the best kind of a classic road car, you guys know the drill. Get yourself prepared to have another round for the 3rd week of October on the weekly challenge, and that will have to put yourself to the test and get the right kind of a vintage vehicle to go with a high performance. But you may have to be well either between on European or Japanese vehicle, which is very good enough to be taking on with some most kind of classic ever since from the 20th century to go all in. every classic sports car should do some training with the Ford GT40 Mark I and Shelby Cobra 427 Coupe in the custom race, which is very good to be having some enough parts to go train and stronger to be a bit much more adjusted and well balanced to have a proper tuning. So this will have to get down to do the first part on Grand Valley Highway 1, Southward Burst, Historic Sports Car Master to be finished in 3rd place or higher. Got to keep it nice and slow, then just have to wait, overtake the Toyota 2000 GT 1967, going in, and keep it nice and clean. Alright, first sector clear. Now coming in on sector 2 to keep it nice and tight to be on the next turn on the right, then go on the left. Got to keep a good eye on Takuma Minasono in the Nissan Fairlady C432 1969 and Valerio Gallo on the Maserati Merak SS 1980. Going hill climb and have the shaded, then going out to be on the final sector. That should do well. Go overtake on the Ferrari Dino 246 GT 1971. Got to catch up to the Lancia Stratos. 9th position and gap distance is on the upper hand to catch up in about 20.1 seconds to go by the end of the first lap. Here goes lap number 2, and I have a good eye on Jose Serrano in the Lamborghini Miura. P400 Bertone prototype is coming up to be overtaken on the 6th position, followed by Angel Inostroza in the Porsche 911 Carrera RS. Got to get in there, keep it maintain pace. Just wait for the Miura, so I'll have to stay on slipstream. Okay, Carrera RS Type 901 overtake. There goes the Shelby GT350. Keep it tight together. It's going to be a little bit more crowded with some muscle cars are in the way. Alright, that's good. Just keep the line up, maintain motion, then go back to the 3rd sector. Okay, what comes up and what comes on the left inside to be overtake the Damaso Pantera 1971, then have a clear spot overtake to be arriving on the 4th position on the Miura P400 Bertone prototype on the 5th. Ford GT40 Mark I is on the 4th, then 3rd lap going on the halfway mark. Alright, very good. Just have to keep focused. Maintain the line on the tunnel in the first turn, opposite direction, then just have to keep it behind on the Chevrolet Corvette C2 Stingray. 2 more to go, and total gap distance is on the 14.8 seconds to go. Now all I have to do is going to keep a good pace and stay stronger to be ongoing by having some few turns to go motion on the Sunset Horizon in the Deem. Just right on the late afternoon. Gonna have to catch up to the De Tomaso Mangusta, driven by S. Sanchez. Keep that brake check. Down to 12.9 seconds to go. Got to catch up on Banter Hayden. He's on the 1st position, and he is going upper hand advantage to be stay strong by the defense. But the offense for the Ford GT40 Mark I will have to go quicker up and get some skill reflex to be on the racing line. Just bring out the good spirit of the racing heritage of the 1960s, then 4th lap to go closer on the penultimate stage. Okay, close call. Brake balance is now being suitable to keep it center on the deck. Just have to keep it up and keep it maintain steady grip. Down to 7.9 seconds, almost there. Back on to sector 2, we'll have to give enough time and more grip to be handling to have some more speed to be under less effect. Okay, very good mark check. Down to 6.3 seconds and going back to the third sector. Okay, I see the Lamborghini Countach. Just have to get there and catch us up in about 5.7 seconds to go. So the wind direction is now kicking up by 29.1 foot squares, and the fifth lap is about to go into the final lap. Faster lap time has now updated by a minute, 20.221 seconds, and this will have to take that faster strong Ford GT40 to go on the main grip and stay steady to go potential to be on the second part on the Grand Valley Highway 1 South reverse. But I still barely got this. This will have to take that Lamborghini Countach to go up on the first and make it into second. So I had to keep buckle up. This will have to take the grand finale to go finishing up to go on to the podium finish. It's only down to 1.4 seconds. Just make the final push, and this brings out to be considered to be additional for the stronger historic sports car master for the Lamborghini Countach. Bring out more torque and more acceleration. Come on. This has got to work, and almost barely had that moment to go finish up to be in second position. Okay then, so that should be good enough and make it to the silver to be received by the third checkmark. And of course, 200,000 GT credit on the ticket has now been well received for this week without it. So very good race and very good challenging, so always have to do some proper tuning work to go adjust it and make it much more quicker to be in the scene of perspective. For the fifth lap on the latest faster lap time by a minute, 19.2 seconds is very perfectly to be well matched and well fought to be in the total time on 6 minutes, 53.766 seconds. Alright, that should do a silver average to be job well done and cleared without a clean race bonus. That's why stronger cars like the Ford GT40 Mark I and the Shelby Cobra Coupe 427 that you guys really might need to get yourself to be suitable on the recommend. So here's for the replay to go on the playback position to go either by almost at the end of the scene. But sunset should do just the way it goes. Just have to go capture thumbnail image here, and maybe this might be a very good choice of the idea to have that part of the scene. Hang on folks, just one moment and that should be doing right over here. Just have to get closer, and there you have it. Thumbnail image captured, then let's go save a replay. So it turns out that Historic Sports Car Masters is very good and will receive to be doing the usual way to go faster to be finished in third place or higher. How about having a second time to go for doing the forward direction when using the BAC mono on the special event? But after all, we just already did by the third round on Dragon Trail Seaside, and this will have to get down to have a 5-lap challenge to go on the forward direction in Highway 1. Time to grab the UDRS Inspirtech livery on the Mono 2016, then off I go. So the drivers are here to be ready up in session, and this will go down for the fourth round in special event on the BAC Mono for the 1-make category. Just like Dragon Trail Seaside back then, and this will have to be ready to go for having a forward direction on Grand Valley Highway 1 has now been prepared to go for a tough challenge to go for a whole new level. Just have for 1 week only, and this will have to take a good strategy to go ever up to have the sports soft tires is now being checked and go ready prepared to go on a rolling start by the 12th position to be achieved and finish in third place or higher. So here I go, let's do this and go kick it up in the high gear on F3 road car style. First and second turn coming in, Keep it nice and tight and go center formation. Going onto the bridge, then exit. Turn 3 on the left direction to go break up the zone before coming in on turn number 4. But keep the handling. I just had to keep it nice and tight and coming down towards the hairpin on turn number 6. This could be very well matched. Total gap distance is now in play by 13 seconds to go up into 14.2. Alright, Ishiyama is on the 11th position, so I had to keep it nice and tight and give it a mono-e-mono style in session. Alright, very good response feedback handling and bring out the torque. Just take turn 12 and 13 to keep it nice and tight. Give a good flow of the driving line. Then go to the Grand Valley Bridge. I'll have to take the left side and go up and forward to amp up the torque to get there by sector 3. This part of the race is very more tricky, folks, so you're gonna have to keep your pace up and keep patient whenever it takes to go clean racing in style if you have to prove yourself to go by mastering the BAC Moto at Grand Valley Highway 1, which is perfectly to be part as the 4th round in the special event. So look at it go. I'm just have to learn and give it much more paces of improvement to go up and get faster to be proceed to the next lap. Lap 1 is clear, then let's go into lap number 2. Got to stay behind with Jay Walters on the 8th position, then going back on to turn number 2 before enter the bridge. But more likely, just have to stay balanced and keep the handling to go motion up and go deceleration by less braking. But the trick and skill is what you need to do is going to make yourself to be passive and well handling for the BAC Moto, just to see how competitive you are that you're about to get proven up to be racing to be exactly prior to the GTWS Nations Cup for this car. Okay, gonna have to stay behind in the 8th position, down to 9.5 seconds. Just have to take turn number 10, going on to turn 11. Alright, very good. Now, back on to the 2nd sector. Just have to do on turn number 12 through to 13. But sometimes, for professionals, when using the BAC Moto, it's all about to get yourself proven to the test and give it much more competitive rather than doing the passive driver when decelerate on elevated corners on the track. But it might have to do some competitive ways and get yourself to be proven up to go shape up and give it a driving reflex to keep it much more focused to be reached up on the 1st position to go to the finish line. Now coming back to the final turn at the tunnel, just stay behind with D. Lee. Alright, very good. Just have the ABS to be stay on the weak motion, then halfway there on the 3rd lap. This could be considered to have the main part to go for the racing penultimate for the road car type category, and especially for the Nissan GTR Cup at D-Force Raceway, will be serving up for the grand finale for the road car category type along with the WTC 800 on the A course in Circuit de Saint-Eclairix, as I just already did back then for the full walkthrough. But good thing, just have one check mark has now been received by having a main ejected as part of the full walkthrough. Then this will have to get down to do the encore for this video segment. But faster lap time is on the update by 2 minutes, decimal by 0.541 seconds. Let's get in there. The gangs are about to get round up to have the next turn by number 9 and 10 and go stop by at turn 11. So bring out a good decent pace of the torque. and it's going to be a lineup at turn number 12 to keep it tight and stay together by having a decent of slipstream to go by a separation corner. Alright, there we go. Just like that, and third sector goes back again. Okay, fifth place. Now just have to do 4 more cars to go. Okay, the green mono is slowing down. Now it's my chance, and go proceed to be onward by crossing to the second bridge. Okay, Simon says Q on the final turn at the tunnel, then stay behind with the third position driver. Okay, fourth lap comes in, and Q penultimate. This has got to do it much more patiently to go master with the one car with a weak ABS system still remains, and keep a center of the torque balance to go amp up and be cautious to keep it well competitive. Okay, Ericsson's on the second. That means Takas is on the first. Got to go in there and stop at turn 6 at the hairpin. Alright, very good control of the pedal, going on full gas, then right back onto the second sector to keep it tight and keep it close on turn number 7 through turn number 9. We're almost there, viewers. Just have to get a little bit closer out there, and the Q Tom attack will have to be patiently soon. Alright, there we go. Down to 0.6 seconds. Then it's heading back to sector 3. Come on. My UDRS mono will always have to keep racing well to stay clean to be accomplished. Now with the chicane S, keep it nice and slow and stay behind with the gold leader position. Okay, signal on the taillight. Just have to be patient and mindful. And very good mark on the Q position to go overtake. First place, here I come, and finishing up on the 4th lap, we'll be on the way to go time attack at the final lap in number 5. Let's go, and Q for the faster pace will be on the time attack. 2 minutes, 1.819 seconds is still on the average time to go normal, but still remains on to my faster lap time by the previous lap on number 2 is on a decimal of 0.541 seconds. The rest of the drivers are about to get back in formation, and few of them are about to get a much more less separation. But they might need to go up in the high gear to get there and have the lineup to get back in the main group. Okay, back on sector 2. Just have to take 2 more to go. Few more corners, more techniques, and possibility to go counter up the steering without taking too much oversteer. Just have to do deaccelerate, go by passive, and make it much more amp up the torque speed to go by short, medium, or long. Alright, very good. Brilliant effort. Then going back to the 3rd sector in the Grand Valley Bridge. Almost there, viewers. This race is just about to be over soon until the last sector has now been marked on the reminder time of arrival. Got to keep it proceed with caution and go clear by the torque. Final turn to go. Just have to keep it steady up, and 10 seconds left to go. I bet it's going to get a little bit much more decent on the normal time. Okay, looks like very good and close as ever by almost by 2 minutes. 4 checkmark has now been received and finishing up in first place for the BAC Mono as a 4th round in the special event 1-make category. Good job, and third time to be in the Road Car Series has now been well prepared to go for the single stage as a sub-penultimate. Total time by 10 minutes, 7.856 seconds, and here is my faster lap time, folks. 1 minute, 59.820 seconds. Very nice, and fortune favors the pace and go by a single earning by average in 100,000 Gran Turismo credit. But without clean race bonus, always have to do your best and keep practice on your own to get there and make it right to go decent in passive clean racing style. And for the 4th part, for having a replay to go by settle in, just have to go for a short halftime and give the quick playback position to go adjust it. Go around to be in 4 minutes and 10 seconds to be take place in lap number 2 and go early on lap number 3. Okay, few of them are about to come out with headlights turned off. Just make this one to go for having the main thumbnail image, and there you go. So that's a content replay number 3 to be on the road car type. Then let's go and heading up to Switzerland for the Nissan GT-R Cup at D-Force Raceway. Back then, when racing on the A course of Circuit de Saint-Eclairix from the previous weekly challenges on the first week, and this will have to bring out to have a 2017 Nissan GT-R Premium Edition, which is now being willed specifically to become as the American model. But I still have it to be labeled as a GIP icon, so I never used it before. Then let's give it a try and go by 5 laps at D-Force Raceway in forward direction. But I may have a better idea for the segment just to have one Group 3 car in the A course of Circuit de Saint-Eclairix in World Touring Car 800. Good thing I just remembered back then when I was using the GT by Citroën race car Group 3 category. It's very good to be courtesy to have the first one every year to be received, and very much more possible without receiving 100,000 GT credit on the ticket. Well, temporarily times have changed. Then let's give it a sub-penultimate on the final part in the road car type in number 4. Then let's have the main part to go for a single part to be received to be on the check part number 5 to be finishing up, and this part of the weekly challenge is now being complete. But it's not over yet until one race will be ready to go encore. Alright, just have to go on the overtake and pass the R33 Skyline GT-R B spec. Using the 2017 Nissan GT-R Premium Edition is now also to be using with the left hand side as the American model. Unlike the T-Spec version to the same kind of an R35 platform, which is considered to become as the final variant to be using with the right hand side as a Japanese model. This one is very good to be characteristic to have a Japanese American model, which is very good to be designed on the track and very yet to be using on the open road. Still remains popular and giving a much more similar detailed look, just like the 2005 Nissan GT-R Proto as you may ever see from GT5 Prologue through GT6. Got the controller very well and mastered very well to be handled to have the most fine R35 GT-R of all time. Okay, there goes the hairpin, check, and go for the 10th position down to the main gap by a total in 27.8 seconds. Got to catch up to Adam Susrillo and Lucas Ordonez. First lap clear. Faster lap time by the update is now been placed by a minute 42.475 seconds as I have to go proceed to the second lap. Just have to be patient and get much more handling to go adjusted to be on the mindful. So this will have to give a proper tuning of recommendation that you guys really might need to get down to do the usual way. You know how it works. Just have to do some main parts and give a lot of more decent handling to go torque up the turbo and bring out the master of the all-wheel drive. Alright, another overtake on the R34 Skyline GTR. Now catching up on Yamasaki in the 6th position to go by a sub gap by 0.6 seconds and going up by almost by 0.8. Okay, moving on to the 6th, 5 more to go. Back on to sector 3, then pull out the brake. Proceed to go on the maintain slow position at the hairpin once again for the 2nd time. Okay, R34 Skyline overtake with another variant. Now, next up are the other two R33 Skyline. Climbing up to the 4th, Matthew Simmons on the 3rd, going clear straight. Almost to be reaching up on the 3rd lap by the halfway mark. Lap time update by a minute, 39.815 seconds. Okay, keep it centered and tight. Almost there by 6.2 seconds to go on the gap. Got to catch up to Ace Willow and Lucas Ordonez in the meantime by entered on the 2nd sector. So you guys really might need to have 2 variants of the R35 GTR in the 2017 as the premium edition and the same title as the 2024 model to be using on the right hand side interior to give a differences to have both Japanese models, which is apparently with this one is now being listed to become as the American model by having an outsource of changes, and designed by the graphics is very much more realistic to give a much more perspective of the racing view. What I kind of like about this GTR to be featuring with the left hand side interior, which is very more American Japanese type. So there they are right now. Susrillo on the 2017 Nissan GTR Nismo, followed by the standard when Lucas Ordonez is in the lead. Time to give it a little bit more toe-on-toe to have 2 premium edition versus 1 Nismo counterpart to have the same year model as the 4th lap proceed to the penultimate stage. Got to hold in position. Turn 1 is now coming back and control it in the all-wheel drive as a type of the touring car. As I wonder to think about the R35 GTR is still have a very good heritage after 15 years to have some production and variants to be well made to be achieved. But still popular just like the R32, R33, and the R34 Skyline. But the GTR is still remained to become the most finest all-wheel drive supercar to be part as a Nissan sports heritage to this day. That would be much more brilliant to have these kinds of different variants, including the T-Spec is very good to be having a different updated performance to go faster and make it much more similar to have the front view to have a facelift model and going consider to have the main one to be right back onto the roots when it all began back from 2007. Okay, gonna have to get closer. Got to let Lucas Ordonez to go first. And I have to go 2nd. Come on, just have to pack up the torque and give a little bit slipstream. That's more like it. 5th lap, arrive on time and going back onto the first turn to pull out the brake. This will get now or never. I have to win the race and go proceed to have a stage of a racing penultimate on the road car type. We'll have to bring out all 4 road cars in one and 1 race car for all. Let's bring it home and take it to the podium. Got to keep it nice and tight. Got to beat my lap time as I already did from the third lap by a minute, 38.109 seconds. Almost there. Just had to go back to my racing roots, and going back to the GTR racing roots as the R35 vehicle has now been well placed up to go by the original to be received as well. But this was to bring out on gear number 6 and give it much more pace on the Pace's torque. Got to keep it nice and tight. Good slow patient on the hairpin. Then let's go down to the final corner to be reaching up towards the finish line. Here it comes. This will have to beat my time, and very close enough. This should be doing by having a 5th check mark has now been 100% complete, and first place on event number 4 to go on road car type only. That's how we get it done, viewers. One kind of a recommend Nissan GTR vehicle to go example to have a classic, R32, R33, R34, and R35 models, which is good to be specifically to have a main total time by 8 minutes, 19.992 seconds. I did well, you guys. It's all done, but this will have to go by having a receipt of earning by 102,000 GT credit to go by a clean race of bonus. And there's a 3-star roulette ticket has received by a daily. Then let's go down to have a main part of the replay icon to go for a thumbnail image. Got to go either to have a playback position and give it more perspective scene by around in 7 minutes. Just give the red and yellow GTR to be on the main part of the action to be skipped and have to be take place to go by 20 seconds ago. Okay, just have to go zoom in. And there you go. Both R35 GTR Premium Edition 2017 is now being seen and much more beautiful perfect. So that should be doing good enough to have that scene and replay content saved. So it's encore time for the WTC 800 at Circuit de Sainte-Clorix as additional race number 16. But good thing I just remembered back then, and very good to have one part of the preparation to go for having a quick review before the start of the race. I just add the ECU full control computer, fully customized on the LSD, also to have some one other kind of a part to be set on a low RPM, anti-lag system that I never used before to be set into off, racing intercooler check, racing air filter, exhaust manifold is now being checked, and brake pads just to have to go for a single check. So just have to go by having a last review check, and then this will have to go for having another part of the encore as I'm about to choosing for the right kind of the Group 3 car besides the GT by Citroen race car Group 3. I'll have to go and choose the Renault Sport RS01 GT3 2016 with a UDRS Insportec livery French style variation to go for the represent to the country of France. Got to go down on detail settings and have a high RPM turbocharger is now being kit and installed by 788 horsepower to be marked on the performance point to be at 776.43. But if possible, I'll have to go and just have to be using on racing hard compound tires to go for the queue of racing endurance and get down to do the first 4 laps on the pit stop and the second wave for the next 4 laps. But more training, more practice, and choose the right kind of a race car is about to get yourself proven up to go trained by a competition. So I just finally got this one to be serving up on race 16 as additional after Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps 24-hour layout from number 15 without having to receive a replay content to go in public.